What's up, everybody? Welcome to another entertainment video. Appreciate you stopping by. If you're here, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment, hit subscribe, hit share. Help me grow the channel, y'all. There's only one way we're going to do it, and it's with the supporters out there like you. But I appreciate you stopping by today. And today, we got to talk a little bit NBA Cup. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the NBA Cup Final Four. How did these teams get here? Ticket prices for these games are dropping like crazy. We're going to talk about why. And of course, I got to make some picks. Who is going to win these matchups? Who's going to match up in the championship game December 17th in Las Vegas? Each winner takes home, I think it's $500,000. So we definitely got to talk about these matchups. A little bit of surprising outcomes in these games, how things played out towards the end of the game. A lot of drama in New York with Trae Young, a lot of drama in Houston with Golden State, Steph Curry, Kuminga had a late game foul. So, man, let's just get right into it. I can't even waste any time. I'm excited for the NBA Cup. So, like I said, NBA Cup Final Four, it's officially set. So, out west, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Houston Rockets. And in the east, we got the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Atlanta Hawks. So, a couple surprising teams. I think most people had the New York Knicks, myself included. I put the Knicks to win the whole NBA Cup. So let's not even talk about that. But the Hawks came out and defeated them. Oklahoma City, I think that was kind of a toss-up with the Mavericks, but OKC came out prevailing. And then Houston versus Golden State, man, that was a crazy battle game. It looked like a 90s game. I think the score was 91-90. So definitely not the usual game you're used to seeing from the Warriors, from Steph Curry. But let's get into a little bit more details on how each of these teams got to the Final Four. So the Thunder defeated the Mavericks 118-104. SGA right now, the current leader for the MVP for the NBA Cup. He went crazy, man. 39 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. They kept Luka in check all night. Dort had him in handcuffs. He only ended up with 16 points, 5 for 15 shooting. Thunder got past the Mavs, and if you guys remember last year, the Mavericks knocked out the Thunder in the second round of the playoffs, so Thunder definitely got a little bit of that lick back on Dallas. In the other side of the Western bracket, the Rockets beat the Warriors 91-90, absolute gut fight. They were fighting all day. Houston secured the 4th and final spot last night for the semifinals. They had a crazy 7-0 run with over the last minute and 16 of the game, including Jalen Green's clutch free throws after he got fouled by Jonathan Kuminga like 90 feet away from the basket. They're sprawling for the ball, but refs gave that call to the Rockets. Warriors pissed off all night. Steve Kerr was rambling after the game, complains that it's some of the worst calls he's seen. He said they really wanted to win. They wanted to get to Vegas. It meant something for them to win the championship, but the Rockets, young Rockets, up and coming, they stuck it out, man. You see that toughness that Fred VanVleet brought in, Dylan Brooks brought in, and Rockets advancing to the semifinals. In the East, the Bucks beat the Magic 114-109. Giannis out of the way, 37 points. Lillard scored 9 of his 28 points in the final minute, and the Bucks reached the NBA Cup semifinals for the second straight season. In the other side of the East bracket, the Hawks upset the New York Knicks 108-100. DeAndre Hunter, Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, they combined for 67 points, and Atlanta's getting to the semifinals. And they had a dominant second half against the Knicks. They outscored them. They outscored New York 61-46 in the second half in Madison Square Garden. Trae Young, something about Madison Square Garden that dude just loves. We got to take a look at a clip right now. Dude is rolling dice at half court in New York. Nothing more disrespectful you could do, and nobody did anything about it. None of the Knicks players did anything. Nobody stepped up, and you can't blame them. They lost the game. They know they're in New York. They know MSG needs that entertainment, and this is the second time in, the last 3 or 4 years where Trae Young goes in there and eliminates them, whether it's the playoffs, now it's the NBA Cup playoffs or the quarterfinals. So Trae Young, there's something that man loves about playing in New York because he comes out, he puts on a show. Not only does he play good, but he puts on that entertainment on the court. And Trae Young is just that type of dog out there that you know when you're a hooper, that's just that dude. He could do it all. But let's take a look real quick. Well, now let's talk a little bit more about the games, actually. I'm like moving on too fast there. But Thunder defeated the Mavericks, man. I had the Thunder winning that game. I think Luka seems like he's not a little bit hampered, but maybe it meant a little bit more to Oklahoma. I mean, if you know the last couple years, Mavericks made it to the championship last year, lost. A couple years back, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. So, it might not be as much of a priority for some reason for them to win the NBA Cup. Luka's also been injured a little bit this year. But the Thunder, they're missing people too. I mean, Chet Holmgren's not in. Jalen Williams, the other big dude, long dreads, he was out. So they pretty much only had Harkenstein and a bunch of guards running around out there. But the Thunder pulled it out. SGA, man, dude has just been on another planet. Like I said, he's the leader right now for MVP for the NBA Cup. He's got to be top 5 probably in the NBA. And just an underrated player. And it's kind of crazy that there's just not more hype for that, man. But somebody, the NBA, the Thunder, someone, you guys got to speak up. Somebody's got to put some publicity on SGA. Matchups like this, these are young players. I think SGA is like 26, 27 in the prime of his career. Dude's a dog, and the NBA is just doing nothing to market him. And in the West Side, the Rockets and the Warriors, man, typical NBA game these days where, you know, things don't go your way. They're all just chucking stuff up. It got a little bit ugly. They were definitely letting them play. The refs were letting them play physical. That's why the score ended up being what it's at 91-90. You see it over here on the left-hand side. But after the game, Steve Kerr was just going off, ranting about everything that happened throughout the game and then how at the end they're going to call that foul. And it was a foul, so you kind of get it. But if you ever played sports, you hate it. You hate it when the refs take the ball out of your hands. You hate when the refs put it just on the call like that. Like, yo, we're both fighting for the ball. The whole game, you're not making any calls. And then right here, you decide like, yo, there's a time to make that foul call. I hate that. I know you got to make the call. They say that. But then they also say that you should call the game the same way from the beginning that you do at the end. And yesterday, they weren't calling anything the whole game. So it didn't make a lot of sense to call that at the end of the game. Call that when two teams have a berth on the line to go to Vegas, make the semifinals. Obviously, the game meant a lot to both teams. They both came out there, played hard. And I think last night, that was a great sign, a great symbol of what the NBA Cup really is all about. Two teams that for different reasons want to make it. The Rockets, an up-and-coming team, obviously want to prove themselves and kind of get experience in these big games. Then a team like the Warriors, where they have Steph Curry, they still got Draymond, they got Gary Payton, these guys that won a championship, Andrew Wiggins, but they're still trying to teach some of these young and up-and-coming guys like Kuminga, like Podziemski. They want them to get that experience too. So it was a great game, man. I think that's what the NBA Cup represents right there in a shell, is just in-season competitive games where there's something extra on the line, and NBA junkies like me, you love that type of game in December. And tough game for the Warriors to lose, but I am excited to see the Rockets advance and see what they could do against the Thunder. And on the East side, Bucks and Magic, a little bit underwhelming. Franz Wagner was hurt. Paolo Banchero's been out, so it was actually a lot closer than I expected, and Jalen Suggs was the one kind of keeping the Magic around. And in the other game, man, I thought the Knicks were going to win this thing, so I'm shocked that the Hawks beat them, bro. Ice Trae Young, buddy, I know what it feels like to be a small hooper. I'm small, way smaller than Trae Young. Trae Young's got to be at least 6 feet. But being that mentality, that's why you know he's talking so much trash out there, bro. You always get hacked. People always try to block you. You got to do a little bit more than everybody else. So when he gets it going, I love watching him play. He's like Steph Curry light, basically the little brother to Steph Curry. But Trae Young puts on a hell of a performance, and he always turns up when he goes to New York, when he gets to Madison Square Garden. And that just leads right into the next part. We got to take a look at this, y'all. We got to get this. Here we go. Let's start it over. So here we go. Yeah, so you see, this happened yesterday at the end of the game. Pretty much, let's go right here. So you could see on the clock, there's not even maybe 4 or 5 seconds left. Atlanta's up right now, 108-100. Trae Young at half court, whips out, throws the dice on the ground. All right, let's take a look from the beginning. Oh, my God. The disrespect, bro. And how the New York players are just walking by in the background. You look at Thibs in the back, too. Thibs is like, come on, bro. Just looks away. Doesn't even say anything. And what are you going to say at that point? What are you really going to say? He owns New York at this point. I don't even know what it is. They need to change the name to the Trae Young Square Garden, because Buddy, every time he gets there, goes crazy, silences the entire New York Knicks crowd. He's got to be the number one hated man in New York today. Just today, there's been some other hated people these last couple days or a week. But Trae Young comes out there, rolls the dice right at court. They're rolling right into Las Vegas. He's feeling himself. You can't blame him. Like I said, he owns Madison Square Garden. Every time he goes in there in a meaningful game against the Knicks, it seems like he shuts the whole crowd up, does his thing. They're going up against the Bucks next, so who knows what they're going to be able to do. But another kind of classic all-time moment from Trae Young at MSG at the Madison Square Garden, and you got to love it, y'all. This is what the NBA Cup's about. Competitive basketball in early December, I'll take it. And I know people hating on the NBA right now, but I'm still a fan, y'all. I can't deny it. Like, how are you going to hate on this right here? Trae Young, Ice Trae the gang, rolling eights right now at center court, going crazy. He probably crapped out, but no one's going to know. Yeah, it's right. Top 5 craziest things I've ever seen. And this is facts right here, too. You get those typical, like, NBA people, old people that cry about everything. And Jalen Brunson said it best, man. We should win the game if we don't want him to do that. And that's real shit right there. Fucking Trae. This is so funny. The clear out view. And you just see everybody around. The whole crowd silent. You know what that means to shut up all of New York? That's some real stuff right there by the Ice Trae, y'all. All right. We'll move on from that. But let's take a look, too. I talked a little bit about that foul on the Warriors. We'll put Kuminga. Kuminga foul. So this is that foul I was talking about. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think refs should call this right here? So he gets the loose ball. They're all fighting for it. And from here, I mean, man, you cannot make that call at this point. 3.5 seconds left. They're fighting. Call the jump ball. I hate that call. I hate when the ref's taking it and then he has to do the whole like, oh my God. That's like when you know the ref's making it about him, bro. And this is what I hate about these moments. It's just that ref making it about himself. Like, let's be real. Let's go back real quick. Look at how far he runs out to. It's the ref that's down here in the bottom that makes that call. Ref right here, nothing. Ref right here, nothing. He's going to call the jump. And this guy comes in from the back. 55. And he's going to do the whole little like, yeet. Like, come on, man. That's such a bad call right there. And Steve Kerr, that was his face right now. You should have seen him after the game because he was pissed off. And you can't blame him. And you got like, you can't see it right now. Then you got little Skip Bayless talking his stuff. Come on, Skip. Let it be. This looks funny, though. This is when I get it. All right. I guess it was a foul. But this looks like they're both just kind of holding each other. I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, it's a foul. Like, that's not the question. I think the question is, how do you make this call at that point? You know, it's not that I mean, it's a foul. But then I could call the foul too right here. Jalen Green jumps right into Kuminga's legs. So they're all battling. Boom. Green hits his leg. Now Kuminga hits his arm. Like, how are you going to make that call in that moment? I don't like it. I think the ref's got to stay out of that play. And then he comes running in, does that little thing with his shoulder where he's like obviously trying to bring more attention to it. Like, just call the foul, bro. If it's a foul, it's a foul. You don't got to go in there and do the whole little like, yo, bro, you grab the shoulder. Because as we saw right there, Jalen Green ran right into Kuminga's legs, and that pretty much cost the Golden State Warriors that game. And I guess you could say, well, Houston's down. You got to give him the call, but fuck that. I'm not messing with that. And now that leads to the last part. Ticket prices right now are plummeting for these NBA games. So it might be, a lot of people are saying online it's because of the teams, it's because of the matchups, but let's get into that a little bit. So NBA, I keep saying so, I'm like, I got to get that out of the vocabulary. NBA Cup ticket prices are plummeting. Last year, the average ticket price was $237. This year, it's $98 and dropping, according to TickPick. As of today, you could get tickets for the Bucks and Hawks for as low as $29. For the Thunder and Rockets, tickets are only $39. And for the championship game, tickets are starting as low as $79 a ticket. So one thing you do got to remember, though, is these are resale numbers. So obviously the NBA already sold out the entire game. These are all resale tickets. And I think, honestly, as a fan, this probably means there's going to be some real fans in attendance for once. Maybe it's not all corporate sponsors and all these casual NBA hype fans that only want to see the big names. I think for once it's actually going to be some real NBA fans in attendance. And that's what I think the NBA Cup's actually all about. A lot of people, just the casuals, don't get it. What's going on here? If you watch the NBA all season around, you know right now things get super slow. Teams are mudding through it, trying to get through it. Usually Christmas is like when stuff starts to really turn up in the NBA. So I think the NBA Cup is a great idea. Like, I don't even see how people can question that. But with these ticket prices dropping, it obviously feeds into that narrative of, yo, people don't want to go. People don't care that it's out there. But I think it's a different way to look at it. If you really think about it, ticket prices are crazy expensive these days. Even $79 is still kind of expensive. But for low, that means you're sitting up top. Thunder versus Rockets, $39. That's probably the regular prices in Oklahoma City, if we're being real. But just to do a quick recap on it again, like I said, NBA Cup ticket prices, they're plummeting. Last year, the average ticket price for the Cup games was $237 when they got to Vegas. This year, it's $98, and it's still going down. And then Bucks, Milwaukee, tickets starting as low as $29 a game. Thunder and Rockets tickets are starting at $39 a game. And then championship ticket is as low as $79. So it's interesting if you want to think about their numbers are going down as well for viewership. But I do think that this has more to do with the teams that are there. And this also just like that whole thing I'm saying, that corporate money that's out there. Obviously, when there's the LeBrons, the Steph Currys, the Lakers, the Warriors, the Celtics that all were in there last year, when those big brands and names are in there, those corporate sponsors start coming in. So maybe for the NBA, they're like, damn, like we could have got a little bit more out of it. But like I said, these are also the resale numbers. So you don't really know what this means. This is TickPick too. It's just a resale website coming out with it. I think these numbers are just being a little bit blown out of proportion. And these are also moments where people are going to become fans of some of these new guys. It's a good thing that these names that have been around are gone forever. Now people have to go out watch SGA. They're going to get to watch Jalen Green. They're going to get to watch Şengün on the Rockets. They're going to get to see Trae Young. They're going to get to see even Giannis in the Bucks, which they're obviously a big name team. But this version, Chris Middleton just got back from being out with injury. Dame and Giannis have finally been gelling. So there's going to be some really, really good matchups starting up this weekend. I think both games are on Saturday. So I'm excited to watch them. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited to catch the game? I just think ultimately it ends up not being as big deal as people think it is. Ticket prices are going down. They're in Vegas. It's on a random weekend. You don't even know if your team's going to make it. So you realistically get like 4 days to plan it out. So last year was the opening time. First time they ever had it. I feel like people were just buying tickets just because. And then obviously Lakers, Celtics, those teams bring that big money where people are going to drop it no matter when they find out that team made it. One thing, though, I did want to bring up that is hilarious. You guys got to look up the LeBron tweet. Let me see. LeBron on the NBA Cup. Oops. If it hasn't been wiped already, we all know Clutch Sports is like the GOAT of doing that. Let me see if I can pull it up. Was it this one? Yeah, so you guys got to let me know what you think about this. It cracks me up how LeBron loves to do this. It's like that whole he was reading and his book's upside down. Just the same thing when he tries to rap every song and he never knows the lyrics. So he's talking about teams popping champagne for the NBA Cup. He put, I don't think these tournaments are important after he got eliminated, even though last year, this was your boy Bron. Popping bottles, going crazy, but he's taking out the goggles and everything. LaFraud, bro. It's so hard to defend LeBron when he does stuff like this. He just contradicts himself over and over every time. So you got to go back real quick. He said, I don't think these tournaments are important after they got eliminated. And then when they won last year, though, he got the little bottle, but he's still shaking it up. Bron is hilarious, man. It's that typical. That's what happens when you're great, though. I feel like you just got blinders on. Whatever you're in the moment, that's just how you feel. They're talking to you right after the game. Had a pretty weak stat line that day, 12, 8, and 6. But Bron is hilarious for that. All I got to say is La Fake Goat. La Fake Goat. Ooh, going longer than I thought. Y'all already at 19 minutes, but let's hurry up and just get to the final part of the video. But let me know what you guys think about that Bron stuff, man. This is hilarious. I think the NBA Cup's dope. So it's funny when he won last year, he was geeked, and now he's like, no, I don't think that it's that big of a deal. So My original NBA Cup, y'all, my original NBA Cup championship matchup is officially cooked. I had Golden State facing the New York Knicks. Both of them already got eliminated. So I already lost my money on FanDuel. Let's not even talk about it. It was like a little 20, 25 bucks, but it's gone forever. But thankfully, America is the place of second chances. So I got to do some updated picks. Out east, I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks to defeat the Atlanta Hawks. Damian Giannis seems to finally be gelling. Middleton's back from injury. Trae Young's definitely one of the most entertaining players in the league, but I don't think he has enough help to get through Milwaukee. And in the West, I'm taking the surprising Houston Rockets. SGA's been on a whole nother level, but with no Chet Holmgren, I don't think they have anybody to protect the rim. Şengün's a dog in the post. Jalen Green attacks the rim relentlessly, so I don't think OKC has enough to deal with Houston. And I think this is that moment where Houston can make a name for themselves on this national stage, at least for this version of the team. So lock it in for December 17th. We're going to have the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Houston Rockets in the NBA Cup Championship. I don't know who's going to win yet. I'll wait for that since the original pick already lost. I'm going to wait so it could be easier. So no matter who I pick, it's one of the two teams that made it. But let me know who you guys think is going to win, who's winning these matchups. I think Milwaukee beats Atlanta. I think the Houston Rockets are going to beat OKC. So December 17th, Milwaukee Bucks, Houston Rockets, NBA Cup Championship. Lock it in, y'all. But drop a comment, hit like, share the video. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. Deuces.